So today it's the monthly Q&A for February. As you can see, I've got my fleece on. Bit unusual usually, because usually you see me in my t-shirt. It's not, weather hasn't been that brilliant lately. We've had a lot of rain. It's now sort of, I think it's blowing over. Hopefully the weekend will be lovely. Anyway, let's get on with it. If it's your first time visiting me, my name's Sean. I lived in the Costa Calada, the southeast of Spain, the Murcia region, just outside the town of Mazarron, Camposol. Huge urbanisation. I've been here 4 years now. Now, please forgive me about the noise. This is about the only place I can find where I thought it won't be too bad. So you're going to probably hear dogs barking in the distance. There's a bit of work going on. Anyway, right behind me, I've just finished a video. Well, I'm working on the video on my golf courses. This one's called Corvera Golf and Country Club Resort. Hopefully that'll be out in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm getting out again, looking at the resorts. Something to watch. So, oh, just before I forget, if you want to support me, Expat and Mazarron, why not buy the t-shirt? This is what it's going to look like. It costs $12.99 plus postage to most parts of the world. If you don't want to buy the t-shirt, why not buy me a coffee? That would be fantastic. Now, both of these links are below the video. The t-shirt offer is in the comments below, and if you want to buy me a coffee is in the description. So I want to thank you, and now you can watch the video. I've got to thank everybody that's bought the t-shirt. Not this one, this is slightly different, but it's still Expat and Mazarron. Got to thank those people, most appreciate it. I also got to thank everybody who's gone and bought me a coffee. That's really appreciate that. And I've got to thank, I've got a list of names here for this year. Now obviously I think there's a few people that I didn't put a name down, so if I didn't call you out, I'm sorry guys, but I most appreciate the coffees. So I've got to thank Robert, Hans, Michael, Dorothy, Michelle, Peter, Cascade Cottage, you know who you are, Chris, Lef, I think I spelt that right, L-E-I-F, Lef, Jeff and Bruce. Thank you very much, most appreciate that. Anyway, the Q&A for February. Got quite a few questions, so I better get on with it. First one's by Paul Warner. Now what I'll do in each question, I'll put it above my head just in case you misheard what I'm on about. Are you concerned that the new government will bulldoze unregistered, unauthorised homes, especially as the old government was going to give them amnesty? Doesn't affect me, Paul, but unfortunately I do know somebody, a good friend of mine that lives over at Allbox, and he comes under that category. And very true, I think last year it looked like it was on the turn. Now I don't know if the Brexit might have messed it, I don't know. Obviously the new government this is anything about when you have a new government come in, they do make new changes. It's been going on a long time now. There's a lot of people unfortunately going to be affected by that. But I'm not concerned about it. I am concerned from a friend because he's in that situation, and because they've been dragging it out. You know, it's been going through the courts. 1 minute they've been getting amnesty, and like you said, it sounds like the new government have dropped it again. So we just have to wait and see on that. Yeah, it's not a good time, but because I know, you know, we've only got to watch the local sort of news and see that they have bulldozed property over. You know, not very nice if it's your home. But this is what I mean when you're buying property. Make sure you go through the correct. I know it's difficult because I know my friend did this. He did it properly as he thought. But yeah, always seek legal advice on those sort of things. Anyway, hope that sort of answered your question, Paul. Number 2, Glen Roberts. Are you worried about the effects of the Brexit if UK doesn't want to support expats, pensions and healthcare? I would say no. And I would say yes. I suppose at the moment it's a bit like head in the sand, because there's so many rumours going about. No, they can't do that. They won't do that. But unfortunately, watching this new government at the moment, anything could happen, I suppose. And yet again, we waited this over 3 years to find out the results. You know, now it's actually going through. We've got to wait this year now until, will they do an agreement or won't they do an agreement? Personally, I'm not too worried about it really. I can't see really. I mean, maybe yeah, they're going to probably tax the pensions, yeah, and also the healthcare. We've already going on to we're already on the Spanish health system anyway. I think it's 150 each, because sorry, I'll correct you wrong. I think it's 63 if you're below 65, and once you get past 65, I think it's 150 each. I should check my records on that, shouldn't I? Anyway, so I'm not worried at the moment. There's been so many rumours going around. I mean, thankfully, I'm a resident now. I've changed my driving licence to a Spanish one. It's a bit nerving, I suppose, for people that's only got a year now to come over here, sort it all out. Sounds like the driving licence thing could be a problem for next year. It sounds like you might have to take a Spanish driving test. Maybe the driving part, it won't be probably bad, but it's the what do you call it, the reading part of it. It's just going to be in Spanish, isn't it? The theory, that's what I'm on about. So Glenn, no, I'm not worried about it at the moment, because we're going to hear nothing until probably well after the summer, as always, when they get back into office, and then it'll be probably on the news every day. But not on the moment, Glenn. But you can remind me near the end of the year, see how I'm still feeling on that. Number 3, Al Dent. Question regarding swimming pools in Camposol. They come from... Do they come from filtration equipment, and if so, what kind? Cartridge or sand? How about chemicals to keep the pH stable? Is that hard to find? So you've done your own work on that, Al. To be honest, you'll find on Camposol, because it's been established for some places nearly 20 years and others probably 10 years. You find lots of people have done different things to their pools. Now we've got just a sand filtration system. Some have got salt. Yeah, you haven't got to worry about the maintenance. There's actually a couple. I think there's one person I know on Camposol that fixes pools and that. I mean, there's plenty of pool companies around Camposol cleaning them and probably maintaining them as well. But you can go down to Mazarron. It's a fantastic shop down near the police station. Ever so helpful in there. They've got everything that you need really. The Chinese on Camposol sells the chemicals for the pool. Leroy's. Yeah. I don't clean the pool. My wife does. Somebody else has been asking about the swimming pool cleaning video, where we've done half of it, and then the winter come and we shut down the pool. We're doing a bit of an experiment on the pool at the moment. But you find all the pools have got some sort of cleaning method, be it sand, salt. Yeah. So you got no worries there, Al. Right. Number 4, Robert S. Why doesn't everybody get solar panels so they only need aircon for heating and cooling, as electrical is expensive in Spain? Robert, there's going to be another question further on about solar panels, and I will be honest, it amazes me why when I'm doing my droning, you hardly see any roofs that's got solar panels on them. You will see quite a few what I call water heater panels on the roofs, which me personally, we rented a property that had a water heater by solar panel. I thought, to be honest, waste of time. They cost about $3,000. If the house has already got it, yeah, then that's a bonus. But if you're thinking about buying one, unless, you know, they're different, because the problem I've had to try and I contacted, there's a local company in the Mazarron area. I messaged them on Messenger. They got back to me. They asked for an email. I sent them an email. I waited a couple of weeks, nothing. So I sent another one, nothing. And it does seem to be the thing in Spain about emails. You've got to find special estate agents. You send an email, they don't respond to it. I just don't get it. There's numerous people I've sent emails to around Camposol that I want to do a video for, and they just don't get back to me. So, you know, I'll try. If I can catch them, that's great. But if I can't, yeah. So I'm bemiffed by it. And where I live on A, they're building a massive solar farm. Nothing to do with Camposol, I don't think, but they're building a massive solar farm. So Spain's into it. I was talking to my Spanish friend Antonio. Now Antonio did say, and I know that he was right, going back a few years, the government had put a tax on solar panels, or a solar tax as they call it, and that was to do with obviously the electricity company. But I noticed, I'm not very good at this name, I could put it here. Now they actually got a page on their website, so it sounds like, I think I'm right in thinking the government, not this government, the previous government did drop the tax on it, but maybe there's a licensing thing. So any solar company out there that's listening, especially here in Spain in the Mazarron area, please get hold of me, because I'd love to do a video on it. Now I actually found on one of the Facebook pages the other day, you could buy a kit, you could buy 2 solar panels and the batteries and the whatever, I don't understand it all, for about 1,500 it cost. Now that won't install it, so there'll obviously be an installation charge as well, so you're probably talking about £2,000, and all that would be able to power, just for 2 panels, was a TV for 7 hours or your fridge for 24 hours. So obviously you need a lot of panels if you're going to do your aircon. But I would be interested. So Robert, I'm miffed. I no doubt this solar panel thing is going to keep on happening. So I will keep putting it out there for companies and that do solar panels. What's the cost? Why hasn't anybody got them on their roofs? Because it's just polluted. I mean today, yeah, wouldn't work very well. Anyway, number 5 by Stuart Crawford. God, he's got a huge question here, and that's no doubt going to be up there as well, but I'm going to read it out anyway. So Stuart Crawford has asked, we are retired, hoping to move to Spain this year. We are worried about the tax we will have to pay on our pensions, as we know we each have an allowance of £12,000 sterling ish before tax here. We have heard that the allowance against our earnings in Spain is around €6,000 before we taxed if a resident. Am I right in saying if we move permanently we have to become a resident, then we would be subject to tax assessment? Hang on. Not even sure we can get residency in Spain now due to the Brexit. And any views from yourself and anyone else? Also, I run a very small Amazon sales business. Would I be liable for a monthly tax, national insurance of €350? I think they charge regardless of profitability. Stuart, I'll be honest straight away, tax is just it. I just don't understand it. We've got an accountant, we went there last year to sort out our resident tax. Yeah, they do assess what you've got, your earnings and things like that. And I believe there is a bridge line in Spain. I think it's €6,000 to €9,000, depending. That's what I mean. It's a bit. I don't want to get involved in this really because I don't understand it, and it's best that you seek legal advice, which I know is very hard, especially on the internet. What I will say straight away is, yes, if you're going to live here in Spain, you got to become a resident, and obviously with the Brexit, it's going to make it more permanent, really. And I believe after 3 months you can apply for residency, and you got to be. And the criteria of it will be different from each province you go to, which is even more confusing, because I can tell you, obviously where we are, within a week or so it can change again. Now this is on about, obviously you've got to prove you've got enough money to support yourself. You've got to prove that you can support yourself in healthcare, private healthcare. They're two main things. The healthcare is another bit of a minefield as well, because if you've got previous health conditions, you'll find most insurance companies here won't insure you. And I was speaking to a couple a while back. They'd come to Spain. They didn't apply to be a resident, because I was told when we first arrived here in Spain 4 years ago from our lawyer, I said, was there any benefit of being a non-resident or a resident? And they said no. So we never did anything, even though by law you got to be a resident. What we didn't, and these people didn't, but they had previous health conditions, and when this Brexit thing kicked in, we all had to get ourselves sorted. Anyway, unfortunately, they just couldn't get private health insurance because of their illnesses that they've had previously. They only insure you for anything that happens after you sign that piece of paper, not anything previous. And depending on if it's a heart condition, they won't touch you. Now maybe there will be some people out there on the internet saying, yeah, don't worry, we'll get all that sorted for you. But I'll be ever so careful that some of these private health insurance, you've got to look at the small print at the bottom. We took out the full package, but even there, on certain operations, sometimes you might have to pay the money up front and then get it back off them. Yeah, bit of a minefield, Stuart. And I'm sorry I can't really help you out on that, but to be honest, it's more legal advice on that, really. You need to find maybe an accountant or something like that to give you the up-to-date gen, because it is always changing all the time. But I know Spain and the UK have got an agreement, and it's nothing to do with the Brexit. This is to do with the tax anyway. But yeah, not much advice there really, is there? But I know you've got to be a resident, be legal to live here. So you do need to check up on your health thing as well. Number 6 by Martin O'Leary. In your newest video you mentioned elderly people who do not drive because of health issues. Do you know if many of them use Spanish nursing homes when that time comes, or do they simply return to the UK? Have you given this matter any thought yourself? Yeah, I have. Funny enough, yeah, you're correct. I think it was a couple of months ago somebody brought up something about private healthcare. It's nothing to do with you being ill. It's just obviously when you get old, if you get dementia or cancer or all the other horrible things that we're going to get when we get old. Yeah. And I know on Camposol there are a few people that's got dementia and they're still living in their homes, and they still get nurses coming in. Now there are private nurses, and I would presume on the private on the Spanish health system that you still should be helped with that as well. Now there are I think we've got maps on our Camposol. And this is the place if you catch cancer where you can have a bit of a break, things like that. Yeah. There are places. I haven't really looked at Spanish nursing homes yet, but I know that there's quite a few private English nurses that come around and look after you as well, to give you a bit of hand. No doubt this is something that will crop up a lot, I expect, over the next couple of years as I'm starting to get older and deteriorating. But yeah, I will look more into that. I mean, I haven't seen anything where we live locally of Spanish nursing homes, and now I've got a Spanish friend now, I'll ask him about the healthcare, what we're entitled to. So it's a good question, that, Martin, and yeah, I have been thinking about it. But as always, when you get older, you don't want that to happen to you, do you? But yeah, it is something to be concerned about. Number 7, Google should die. You know you are. How late are most of the stores, pubs, etc. open for, and also are they seasonal all year round? Good question, that. Now that all depends on whereabouts you live. Now where we live on Camposol, I wouldn't say it's a curfew, but after midnight, everything shuts down. The bars, everything shuts down. Now, most of the, what I class as UK bars and whatever, they stay open from about 9 o'clock right through to about up to midnight. Some shut, some take a couple of days off. Supermarkets open all day. Now you find also some of the Spanish shops on Camposol, and also down in the town mainly, they do shut for their I've been told off a few times now of calling it a siesta, but I don't know what you want to call it really. But yeah, usually they open about 10 o'clock really, 10 o'clock to about 2, and then they reopen again about 4 or 5 to probably about 9 or 10 at night. But you find most of the big shopping centres are open all day. It's something I got used to now. It was a bit annoying at first, because usually you do all your stuff in the morning, and then the time you go out and they're shut. Restaurants are opened. Something else I noticed with the Spanish restaurants mainly is when we're going out, especially when we're trying to find a tapas, they don't really eat to about gone 2 really. We usually pop in there about midday. They look at you in moves, ah! But anyway, yeah, they're not seasonal. All the places on campus are open all year round, and it's the same down in the city, in the town of Mazarron and the port. There's a couple of places that do. Some of the, especially the bars that go out onto the beach now, the bars that go on the beach, they will shut down for the winter period, and they reappear just after Easter. And there's a couple of cafes, I suppose, that do that as well, but not many. But most of the places still operational during the year. So I hope that's, especially you've got pubs here, yeah, they'll be open most of the day, and you can get cold beer. And obviously drinks a lot cheaper here. Another one, number 8 from Google should die. Doing the Google Street view, and noticed that there is some sort of pretty big street fair going on around the English butcher shop near Cali, Barcelona. What's that about? What kind of things can you buy there, and how often is it held? Good one. People thinking, what the hell are you on about this time? So we're on Camposol, we're on Camposol Way, the top car park, every Thursday morning, about 8 o'clock, I think. Yeah, about 8 onwards to about midday is the market, outdoor market. Sells everything really, I think. I don't go around there much. You can buy pots and pans, you can get your veg, you can buy clothing there, you can get your stuff for your pipe. I think there's a guy on there that fixes phones. Yeah, it's a market, and to be honest, that's one thing I like about Spain. There's loads of markets here. Down in the port on a Sunday, there's a massive sort of food and clothing market down there. Yeah, so it's a market every Thursday. Number 9, right. Hans Silver and Turd Surfer, they asked me, could I do a video on my heating, just to explain, because I do bang on about central heating, because as you can see, it does get cold here in Spain, and especially yesterday we had to put the heating back on again. So what I've done for you guys, I've done you a video. No, do it that way. at the moment I'm in my I've got like an outbuilding attached to the villa, and this is where my oil heater is. So we got the boil, we got the boiler here. I always check the water temperature. Sometimes the pressure drops a bit and you have to mess about with that. But then this is the main oil tank. Now I'm not too sure what the standards are, but here mine's a metal tank. It's got 700 litres on it, and at the moment I've got 200 left. So I usually let that just drop below that, and then we're going to call up the oil man. He's a BP guy, comes out ever so good, Antonio, tops it up again, and we're alright. But we find we've turned off the heating at the moment anyway. We'll find that will take us right through the summer now, just for the hot water, showers, things like that. So I'll just show you a bit of the pipe work. So now I'm going to take you in the house and show you our radiators and that, just give you some idea what you expect. So I'm in my, what I call my front conservatory. We got it enclosed because obviously this time of year it does get a bit chilly. But I'm showing you our radiators. So that I'll take it as the standard radiators that you would get in the UK. No doubt somebody's will tell me different. So we've got two in the conservatory here during the daytime, especially even now. We're in February now. Here's one of the radiators in the lounge. We've got two in the lounge. Quite standard. I'm just going to give you a view there. And here's my guard dog. You can see in one of the toilets, which is also our washing room as well. That's another standard radiator. We've got them in all the bedrooms, well, in all the bathrooms. When I say all, we've only got 2 bathrooms. But that gives you some idea what it is. Hopefully that's put your mind at rest, guys. Okay, just forgot. I thought I'd show me aircon. We got a Panasonic inverter. We use this obviously in the summer to keep us nice and cool. Gives you an idea what these settings are. But also in the winter time, especially at the moment, what I tend to do just before we go to bed, I'll turn this on just to warm the room up. We've got 2 units in the house, but me personally, I think you would need units in all the rooms if you wanted to, instead of having central heating, is use aircon machines. But is it expensive? I don't know. So that's my central heating video out of the way. Hope you like that, guys. Hands and turd surfer. Number 10 and the last question to this month is by Glen Roberts. My question for February is, do you have to pass a Spanish knowledge test to become a citizenship? Yes, you do. And you've got to speak Spanish. I believe once you become a resident, you can apply for it after 5 years. Now, what that entails, apparently, obviously, you'd be entitled to a lot more. One of my 3 amigos, Jackie, she's going for it. She goes to classes twice a week. She's really jumped ahead of me. She's really, yeah. You got to learn Spanish. You got to go to Spanish classes, which I haven't done yet, unfortunately. But yeah, you got to understand Spanish law, not Spanish history, no doubt. I suppose, I don't know. But what I will say, Glenn, I'll remember that when Jackie, I think she's going to be here a couple more years yet before she can be a citizenship. Yeah, and I'll ask her. So, good question, Glenn. Thank you very much for that. And as I always say, guys, if you've got any questions, please add them below. I will try and answer them. Sometimes I can't, especially when we're talking about tax and things like that, because that's over my head. And I know in one sense I should, but we got an accountant. And just going back onto that, what fascinated me was when we was a non-resident, we paid non-resident tax, and when we was a resident, we didn't pay any tax. We paid the accountant, obviously he paid his bill, but we didn't pay any tax because we was below the limit, and the thing you mentioned there, we put in 1,200 a year. Does that sound right? No. Yeah, 1,200 a year from each of us, sort of thing. So fascinating that. I mean, and we haven't got nothing back in the UK to fall on. We got no big pot to dip into, and we got no property, things like that. So I'll finish it now. It's been a long one, this one. So thank you very much, guys. As always, got to keep watching. Questions below, I'll answer them next month for March. And anyway, have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.